Okay, I have done. I think I probably told y'all this is a 6 millimeter wide and half a millimeter thick brass stripping. On eBay, it's K and S, but overseas, I don't know if it's the same product. But I'm sure there's probably a reasonable provider of these strips. I was able to do what I wanted to do. It takes a little bit to get it to come out, but as far as when it comes up, you'll use a small precision flathead screwdriver, work it back a little bit, and I think what I'll probably do is do this a few times with it to get it to where it glides by fingers that way. And it's just going to take a little time because it seems like either at this point or right up in here it's probably wanting to hang, and it's not exactly where they had machine cramped the original brass piece. So I think it might be up around that area. Everything else seems to be going as anticipated. So just for the video's sake, and I did find these. Here is one of the future challenge locks I will be making. This does fit in there, and they do have a, I guess like a fold, a dent, where you can actually put this over. And while off of cam making this, I went ahead and found these. I guess these will work better when you don't cut a gouge in them. And like I did with I used the burr. Usually it's the biggest one in the box that you get. I get the German kind. As you see, it's got a little bit of a hump there. I'm guessing you take like a flathead screwdriver. We'll say, come here. Go ahead and, well, before I open this up, just, I guess, give an idea of how this is done, because I've tried before, and once. So that is something I have not mastered. Okay, get back to the lock here in hand. Put these right over here. Precision screwdriver. As you see, I marked the part that is going to be going back to chamber 1. Move it back a little bit off to the side, and there you go. First chamber pretty much exposed. Get your spring, your pins out of there. Move it back a little bit more. And like I said, I probably need to do this a few times to get to where I can get these two chambers to be exposed a little bit more easier than when I did have them. It just takes a little bit of persuasion here, and we'll get to where we start to expose the second chamber, which is already beginning to be exposed. A bit more persuasion. We'll get that persuasion going. And here we go, it's sliding up a little bit more. And I think it's due to where the machine crimp was done to keep the original one on there. So now, it takes about a little bit working. If I can get it to go a little bit more smoothly, I will. And see, the only thing is, people will be like, you might damage the spring right there a little bit by pushing down. do it right. Make sure there's no key in there. You should have room to push that spring down and work that lip back. And see, at this point, it's almost to where I can get it. So there's like a little bit more I got to work on. And but either way, it's resealable. You don't take up real estate space inside the chamber by threading and grub screws. And usually at this point, this is what I've did a couple other times before filming, is taking this, use my thumb, there we go, there's that chamber. Now at this point, I can do it with my fingers. Now, what I did to actually get the curvature, put the flat strip up here, tighten down, and just kind of just tapped. Loosened it back up, moved it up a little bit more, and kept doing it to where it has a little bit of a curvature to it. I don't know how well if you could see it, but it is kind of there. Of course, ran the file down this side and that side. Made sure, as I started, which way it was going to be going to chamber 1, which I just went ahead and marked. As I kept going and filing down, I'd make little marks just to let me know where it was sticking at. And I do use one of these little magnetic lamps. This thing is a godsend for me. It's helped me do a lot of the small scale work I do when I make pins, but that's what I use. And we'll go ahead and tap this back on down. So now I've got a removable lid on what will be a 7-pin Schlage challenge lock, and this thing has been fighting me tooth and nail while building it. I have found out my mistakes. My mistakes is where I was trying to go exceed max in certain areas, a little bit too much. It wouldn't allow me to do it. I had an experimental pin that I thought was going to work out well. Did not work. It was using a brass bead, some copper tubing, and a little piece looks like a brass nail, but it's actually used for anti-bump in some locks. Yeah, it didn't turn out to be that well. I have to put everything together, run it through to make sure it's going to work well with the pins and the mods, and little bastard to be going to its new home. One thing I found out about this particular lock, it's not perfectly milled out. It's machined out. It kind of like sticks as it rotates. It was doing that before I even made any mods to the chamber. But that pretty much concludes what I've done here on this. In the comments, if you want me, well, actually, I'll do the footwork for you, and if you just want a link to this stuff, I'll put the link in the description. These, I don't know exactly what these are called. It says a dogging kit for fire-rated devices only, but I don't think that's what originally came in this package. These I've got from Picksmith. I need to really mess with these a little bit more. I'm probably saving myself a lot of work and time on this, but you know, I've gotten used to making these out of copper and sealing them up with steel stick. I just figured I'd try to use something a little bit more stronger metal that I can use instead of that flimsy copper that the pins won't push up against and cause this to come out, and it allows a person to scoot this strip back, expose the pins one at a time, and can get it that way. I wouldn't recommend rebuilding and repopulating the chambers that way, but it was something I wanted to try. I did it. You can do it. That's pretty much about it, ladies and gentlemen. Take care. Have a good night. My best to y'all. Till the next time. Bye.